We're going to be going on another Reddit adventure today. I'm going to be diving into the small business subreddit that I love so much and just kind of looking for the different questions people ask about starting a fashion business and seeing if I can answer them. So come along with me and let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Thread. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Kendall. I'm a former brand owner, Parsons graduate, and mentor for people starting their fashion brands from scratch. So I love going on this subreddit called Small Business. There's always tons of interesting questions on there. And if you didn't watch my last video called Reddit Horror Stories, be sure to go back and watch that one. I will link it up here. But that one was all about this woman's paying over $100,000 to launch her brand and now is having zero sales. It's super interesting. So that was a long one. Today, I'm just looking for some questions that people have asked because I kind of want to know like what's on people's minds. What are people wondering about? And I'm going to see if I can answer these questions because they might help you guys watching. So let's get the old laptop out, get your drink, get whatever you need, and let's dive into this. Okay, our first question here. It says, starting a luxury fashion/lifestyle brand from scratch as a student with no money. Need advice on where to even begin. Oh boy. Okay. It says, hi everyone. I'm a university student studying psychology and health sciences, and I'm working on building a luxury fashion and lifestyle brand entirely from scratch. No funding, no family support, no formal background in fashion or business. Just vision, passion, and a deep love for the creative world. Well, that's what my channel is all about. But I have a question up top. Why are you studying psychology and health sciences if this is your passion? Just would love to know. Because it seems, I don't know, I'm in my 40s now, and I feel like I've seen enough to know that when you're just studying something because you think you should, you always end up having to come back to what you're actually passionate about and interested about. So you should just start with that. But that's just me. That's just like my mom advice. Okay, so this brand blends fashion, fragrance, and florals, all inspired by nature. I'm keeping the concept broad on purpose. It's very unique and personal. But think matching luxury fashion sets, floral decors, and floral/fruity fragrances all coming together in one cohesive space and experience. I'm trying to figure out how to take the first steps towards making it all real. What I'm looking for help with: 1, how to get clothing samples made or work with small batch manufacturers on a $0 budget until I can save some money. So I'll get to all of these questions in order. Let's go through them though. 2, how to create a custom fragrance and a fully custom perfume bottle, not stock designs. I need a unique bottle shape. 3, how to build an online presence to attract future customers and potential investors. 4, whether to start with one part of the brand, fashion, florals, or fragrance, or build it all slowly in harmony. That's a great question. 5, any advice on crowdfunding grants or programs that help students, women, and solo founders launch creative businesses. If you've worked in fashion, florals, beauty, or launched a brand with no money, I would be incredibly grateful for any advice, resources, or just encouragement. These are great questions. I can tell she's really thought about this. Sometimes I read questions on Reddit. It's like, how do I start a brand? It's like so vague that you can't even answer it. She's really thought through this and she seems really passionate about it. Okay, so let's go through what my advice would be, because I feel like a lot of people watching this channel also are on a tight budget, maybe have no money, and all they have is a dream, right? So, okay, let me take these one by one. Number 1, she asked how to get clothing samples made or work with small batch manufacturers on a $0 budget. Okay, well, first of all, I don't mean to burst anyone's bubble, but I think if you've been watching this channel, you will know that you're going to spend money on launching this. And I'm sure she knows that. I think what she's meaning is that right now she has $0 and she needs time to save up money. Starting a fashion business is one of the most expensive things that you can possibly do as a startup. And I don't want to crush anybody's dreams. I just say that, to prepare you and make you approach this in a smart way so you don't get surprised and shocked after your first season and have to shut down, because I've seen that happen with so many people that I know. I will link my video on how much it costs to start a fashion brand, and you can watch that if you haven't already, instead of me explaining everything all over again. But to do it right, which you really need to do, it does cost money. I think, it depends on so many factors, which I go into in the other video, but it could, cost 5 to 10K at least if you're being really smart and budgeting. So just know that. But the good news is that it takes quite a long time to launch. And if you put a money plan in place, like you're saving X amount of dollars, you're automating it, or maybe you get like a side hustle for a little while to save up, you can save the money. If you have a target, you know how much you want to save, you can save the money in that time, because sometimes it's like a year before you need to make any big purchases, buy fabric or start paying a pattern maker. Sometimes it's like a year. So imagine if you're really smart, you're really dedicated, how much money you can actually save in that time. So in terms of how to get clothing samples made in small batch manufacturers, I would, when I started my brand, I joined a program that also the price included a database of manufacturers. So I was really lucky to have that. That was really made things easier. But I do know there's such things as Makers Row. I just took a peek on there to make sure like they're still around. And it says they have links to tons of manufacturers, and they have like over 200,000 brands join just to get like the information on manufacturers and stuff. So that might be a good resource. I haven't used them myself, so I don't know if I can recommend them or not, but they seem to have a lot of resources. And I would also, Google things in your area and the next, largest city near you, because finding someone local is always best if you can go that route. And make sure to read their reviews, their Yelp reviews and their Google reviews. Number two, how to create a custom fragrance and a fully custom perfume bottle. Now, of course, I don't know anything about that, but I think that this sounds really freaking cool. And I think that this might be something that she should explore first. Well, I'll get to that in her next question, because I think her next question is like, should I do these at the same time or one at a time? This seems like maybe doing the perfume and the fragrance. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like it's probably cheaper than starting the clothing brand. So maybe if she did that first, that would be something a little more affordable at first. She could get her name out there, and then use that time to also save up for starting the clothing line. I'd like to know what her full vision is, because it sounds like it could be cool. A unique bottle shape, that would be cool too. Like really do something unique. I'm sure there's a lot of perfume brands and fragrance brands out there. And you have to really stand out, just like with anything, right? Okay, number 3, how to build an online presence to attract future customers and potential investors. Now, that is a big question, of course, that I wouldn't even begin to answer in this short video. But yes, thinking about starting an online presence even before you have a product is a great thing to be thinking about. You can, if you have your name, you can go ahead and start your social media account. I did a video all about that, about how to attract customers before you even launch anything. So I'll link that as well. But start thinking about that online presence and building up the like, know, trust factor with your potential future audience. So if she was planning to have, to sell things, I would probably use Shopify, just because I've always used Shopify and I love them. I've used Squarespace too. I personally prefer Shopify, but that's just me. So I would think about getting like just a landing page or something simple to start learning about web design and start kind of putting your existence out there into the world online. Number 4, whether to start with one part of the brand, fashion, florals, or fragrance, or build it all slowly in harmony. That really depends on her vision. But, just taking this question at face value and knowing how expensive everything is, and knowing that our instinct is to really get started quickly, I think, picking one of those things to start with would probably be the good way to go. Because, as I've talked about before, you want to start with whatever you want to be known for mostly, because that's usually the thing that people discover you for, and it kind of sticks in people's minds. Like Kate Spade has a million different offerings now, but she started with handbags, and that's what people know her for. So if you want to be known for the fragrance, start with the fragrance, start to build that. You can add in clothing or something a few years down the line, and this way you already have customers, you already have interested people, and then you kind of have a guaranteed audience if your fragrance brand is going pretty well. So that will help if you start with the cheapest thing, the most affordable thing that you can do, starting small, starting with a couple fragrances. I don't know how expensive this is, but like I said, it sounds cheaper than getting clothing produced. And then build it all like slowly, little by little. I think that's probably the smartest way to go in terms of finances as well. And 5, any advice on crowdfunding grants or programs that help students, women, and solo founders launch creative businesses? I actually don't totally know. Grants and things was one of those things that I personally, with my own business, didn't get around to applying to that many of them. I certainly did, but it wasn't something that I'm really knowledgeable about. But crowdfunding, I did help people launch Kickstarters. So crowdfunding, maybe I can do a video on this, but I really believe that crowdfunding, it doesn't work for everybody. I've seen fashion brands launch large collections on there, and it just doesn't always seem to work. I really think crowdfunding like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatever the other ones are, is good for if you have a unique product, you have something kind of unique, because people get on there and search for things, and you really have to stand out. And so if you are just offering like a basic t-shirts, like you're not gonna really, why would people really fund that on Kickstarter? If you have something unique, and especially for a very small collection or even one item, those do really well on Kickstarter. And I've taught workshops on this before, and actually we looked at the things that have had the most success on Kickstarter, which you should look those up. They're pretty interesting. They're like watch brands, and there was like a diaper bag one. So they're like always really unique offerings, bringing something new to the market instead of full fashion collections. So if she's launching a fragrance and it's one thing, that might be a really good thing for crowdfunding platform. You can also do pre-sales, which I think I'm going to do a whole video about. That's a way to kind of get people to pay for your things before you actually put the money into production yourself. But yeah, I would do research on crowdfunding if I were her. If you have a really unique, novel product, that might be a good fit for a crowdfunding platform. And be sure to do a lot of research on what makes a great crowdfunding campaign, because there's a lot to learn there. Okay, so I hope that these answers helped her. She doesn't have any comments, but I think this was it was 2 days ago. So I hope that these answers helped her and maybe apply to you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Okay, let's move on to our other one. Okay, this one says, would I be making a mistake by kickstarting an upcycling fashion online business in this economy, USA? Question. I currently work 2 jobs. One is a housekeeping job that will be ending in a couple months. I'm on the spectrum and can have a very difficult time forcing myself to do something I'm not passionate about. I only have a little experience sewing, but I'm pretty good at art, and fashion design is my dream job. I would definitely need to practice before officially selling anything. I guess I'm wondering how you guys are currently doing as small business owners in this economy. I can't imagine many people are looking to buy clothes right now unless they were super cheap. I want to work from home for many reasons, but I'm worried I'd be making a mistake if I invested in it right now. Any advice is helpful. This is such a good question. It's easy to dream about starting a brand, but she's taking a really practical approach and asking, like, are you small businesses doing okay out there? Like, is this something I want to get into right now? So the reason I wanted to read this question is because we've got the biggest Debbie Downer in history in the comments here. Okay, wait, do you guys hear this? It's like dream crusher over here. Okay, so I'm gonna put this comment up so you guys can read. This person in the comment says, I personally think it's not worth your time. I don't think that the original poster gave enough information for her to say whether it's worth her time or not, but let's listen to her reasoning. 1, upcycling is very fashion taste dependent. You're only going to sell if someone likes your clothing and it fits them. Obviously, that goes for anything. 2, how would you sell it? Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, etc. If you sell it online, you have to pay fees, which greatly cuts into your costs. Why? Okay. Why is this person on the small business subreddit? If you try to sell it in person or at some fair, you have to spend your time being there. Your time is overhead. 3, so then you I'm sorry. So then you have to account for everything and see if the time sourcing materials, sewing the items, assuming zero risk on messing up a product, and selling it is worth it. I think it's only profitable for select people who have social media presence and have built their business to have a following. I would maybe look at these accounts and see their online shop and what they've sold so far. The best small businesses are the ones where you don't have to spend your own time making each individual product. Well, she never said that she was going to do that. You need to be able to work on multiple items at once to reduce your time/overhead. One of my friends is considered one of the top bag makers in the world, and he'll mostly get fame and doesn't make that much money because of how much fabric/pieces cost. And he doesn't feel fulfilled doing this full time. Okay, if it's something you can do for the sole purpose of enjoyment, then that's a nice way to make some side income. But if you're doing it to build a business, I think there's hundreds of better options you can research about. Okay, my question is, who hurt you? Like, why are you this aggressive in the comments? This OP gave almost no, specifics about what she was thinking of doing, but this person is like, this is not a good idea. So this is kind of why I wanted to bring up this question, because I wanted to respond to this person mainly. Okay, so yes, this economy is very harsh. I had to close my business because, well, for a lot of reasons, but one of them was me and the other small businesses and independent brands and sustainable brands that I knew were all really hardcore struggling. And that's true. That's definitely something you should take into consideration. But if you can start out your business right and position yourself in the right way and do things that people actually want and need, there is a way to still sell clothing. Like, it's never hopeless. There's tons of clothing still being sold. And I follow a lot of upcycling accounts. I just think they're really cool to watch. A lot of people upcycling vintage tea towels and things into coats. I mean, it's awesome, and they do really well and they sell out. So if you can do something like that, I think that is a great dream to have. I think it would be worth maybe following a bunch of these accounts if she's not already. following people that are doing what you want to do and seeing kind of how they're doing. Now, of course, it's impossible to know, right? Every business is going to act like they're doing well. But you can get a read on what the customer engagement is like. Do they seem to sell out right away? How are they doing in terms of, do they make things themselves? Do they post things one at a time and sell out? What is their business like, and how does that seem to be working out from them? And then see if you can do something similar. I think this person, she said she doesn't have a ton of sewing experience yet. I think that it would definitely be worth investing some time learning that if this is something she does want to do herself, which it sounds like she does. It sounds like she wants to work from home and be the one to do this. And it would be worth investing a lot of time, learning about marketing and selling and the business side of all this. So I think that it might be a longer road to get there, since she's starting out with no sewing experience, but I really think she can do it. I think that this is just my opinion, but I think people are getting really tired of fast fashion. Right after the pandemic, we kind of saw a lot of independent brands shut down, and a lot of the fast fashion take over even more than it already had. In my opinion, I think people are getting tired of that and they want more unique things again. So I think upcycling, things that are a little bit unique, I think people are going to want that again, and they already do. So I think this is a good time to do that. Yes, if you sell online, you have to pay fees, which greatly cuts into your costs. Like what? Why are you even on the subreddit? Yeah, Shopify costs like $30 a month, okay? It's fine. You can sell on Etsy. They do take a cut. If you sell at fairs, yes, you have to spend your time being at them, but it's such a good learning experience, and that's how you sell things. What is this person talking about? Yeah, you have to spend time sourcing materials. This is what building a brand is. So anyway, this commenter is just off the rails. But I really think that, I wish this original poster a lot of luck. I think that they can absolutely do it if they invest a little bit of time into learning the things that they don't already know. Okay, guys, so I see I've already been recording for 21 minutes, so I am going to leave this here. And I'm probably going to do another video reading more questions. And by the way, you guys, I would love to do a Q&A at some point. So if you have questions, I don't have an email connected to this account yet, but feel free to leave questions in the comments, and then at some point I'd love to do a Q&A, and hopefully I will get to answer your questions or post it on Small Business and I will find it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know by liking, subscribing if you liked this, if you want me to do more things like this, what other questions or topics you want me to cover. And thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys really soon.